Welcome everyone to the service process improvement video. So this is going to be a very small video. So please uh, and go through the contents altogether. So foundation of continuous improvement is what we will be talking about it. Why should we go for continuous improvement is the first question. It is because of customer satisfaction. Customer satisfaction means more revenue. More revenue means more profit. So focus is on the customer requirement. Management by facts, formal data gathering and statistical analysis helps us the very foundation of continuous improvement. Respect for people, assumptions about employees, customers as co-producers, supporters and engagement with every passage of time. So PDCA or plan, do, check, act analysis, or perhaps the cycle that we go around it is it all that comprises of it. We talk about planning, document the current process, selecting the problem, determining the possible root causes, and developing an action plan thereabout. So that after you have developed an action plan, do it, implement it, implementing the process change on a trial basis, and collecting the data on performance measures. So once you have implemented, you have got to check whether it has achieved the desired result or not. Check, review, and evaluate the effect of change. And after checking, you will understand what is to be avoided and needs to be improved upon. Act if the experiment is successful. Standardize the process and change, providing training to the new process, codifying learning, the improvement process altogether. We're talking about the basic tools of quality and productivity improvement: the check sheet, the run chart, the histogram, the Pareto chart, the flow chart, the cause and effect diagram, the scatter diagram, and the control chart. I repeat, these are the basic tools: check sheets, run chart, histogram, Pareto chart, flow chart, cause and effect diagram, scatter diagram, control chart, thereby process improvement challenges in services. We're talking about high inputs, process variation reduction in the more complicated, perhaps sensitive issue than in manufacturing, poor tracking of flow, especially if the customer is in the process. Customer, remember, cannot be treated as like inventory. A tradition of individuality and employee discretions, lack of meaningful data based on decision making, quality metrics are often subjective. Remember, this is, although a time is an example of an objective measure in transactional services, the quality metrics are subjective because certain customers would have different tastes. Some might like it, some might not. Some might appreciate it much better, some might be distasteful towards your product or services. So yes, lack of meaningful data. Employee and customers cannot be controlled and uh, organized as machine. So Six Sigma principles for the service principle. Let me go around it. Emphasize the need to recognize the high impact. Remember, I'm talking about high impact, financiable, quantifiable opportunities that eliminates the defects as defined by the customers. Recognize the variation hinders the ability to reliably deliver a high quality service, requires data driven decisions. Using comprehensive set of quality tools, provide a high prescriptive cultural infrastructure for aiding implementation. When implemented correctly, remember, it delivers approximately $500,000 of improved profit, operating profit per black belt per year, and this is quantified, justified, proven by research altogether. DMAX, or define, measure, analyze, improve, and control. Improvement process uses Six Sigma as an analogous to PDCA: plan, do, check, and act cycle. So this is what we are looking forward to. Now, the Six Sigma organization roles, perhaps the responsibility. If we are talking about the executives are the people who are looking at uh, championing the causes of the visions, the directions, the integration, result, and lead chain. These is what we are talking about it. These is what the executives are going to pilfer to the organization: the vision, the direction, the integration, result, and lead the chain. Then comes the project members. They might be project specific, they might be ad hoc, they might be part time. We're talking about the green belts. These are the part time or help black belts altogether. Black belts devote approximately 50% of the time, possibly 100% of the time, to the black belt activities, that is of improving, continuous improvement, facilitating, and probably uh, uh, practicing problem solving. That is what we are looking. Train and coach the green belt time and again as what to do and what to avoid. Master black belt, a full-time job. They train, coach black and green belt. Statistical problem solving. What does it lead to? It leads to championship. It leads to good quality product. It leads to project ownership and implementing solution. And these have been done only when there's an employees who understand the vision, who apply the concept of the executive thereby. Sources of variation in service, customer introduced variability as in arrival variability, request variability, capability variability, effort variability, subjective preferences variability. These are the customer introduced variability. Internal process variability is process design. Employees and equipment thereby as on when on basis. Reduction of variation in services due to the involvement of the customers in service process and more intangible nature of the service products. Service tends to be more uncertain. In fact, it varies more than what you can be doing it in, as far as the manufacturers or a product industry is concerned. So service, you cannot specifically standardize, or probably the experiences of the services might vary over a period of time. But what happens with the manufactured product? It is standardized. It is completely standard. Anytime you use it, any time of the day, any day of the week, any month of the year, the product remains standardized. Product standardization in service often involves defining the framework of action, customer interaction, rather than the rigid sequence of steps. Any standard that causes failure demand, for example, strictly limiting the length of the customer service calls, is an inappropriate application of variations reduction. Probably, if the customer wants to talk, the customer wants to have that empathetic feeling altogether and requires a lot of time in understanding. You need to give the customer time. You just cannot upload that every call needs to be curtailed or finished within 180 seconds or 3 minutes. Standard operating procedure provides the basis of evaluating service processes, assessing the impact of the process change. Many services, remember, many service processes can be standardized than they are currently are, making service more efficient, making service more effective. Example, best practice bundles in the healthcare, separate process for high, low, complex services, such as insurance, such as application, grocery store, checkout, and so on. So what about lean service principle? What do we do with the lean service principle? The lean approach to the process improvement include a focus on the customer, both internal and external, maximizing the process velocity as in the flow altogether. Tools focused on analyzing the process flow and delay time each of the activity in the process, eliminating waste, separate value added and probably non-value added, and addressing the root cause of non-value added activities, reducing unnecessary complexity and its cost thereby. And that is what we all strive to go ahead with it. Throughput time and process, little loss. Throughput time is amount of work in progress. WIP, amount of work in progress by the average completion rate. Now that is what my throughput time would be going about. The input and the output. And then there is something called throughput. It's the average amount of work above the average completion time. Throughput time is the amount of time an item, for example, a customer takes to complete a process. Work in process is the number of items are in progress as of that particular moment. Average completion time is the number of items completed per unit time. If two of the three quantities are known, probably the other two can be calculated, right? The other one can be calculated. Increasing process speed requires either reducing the WIP, the work in progress, or increasing the completion rate. So service wastages. Now let us understand what are the wastage in the service industry. Is over processing, trying to add more value to the customer than what your customer is willing to pay or is going to pay. Transportation, unnecessary movement of materials, product, information, motion, needless movement of people altogether. And that is what we need to understand. Inventory, any WIP, work in progress, in excess of what is required to produce for the customer thereof. Waiting time, any delay between when one process, perhaps an activity, or the next activity. So if there are delay between one activity and another activity, so this is the delay that we goes around it, that needs to be eliminated. Defects, any aspect of the service that do not conform to the customer requirement. Overproduction is the production of output beyond what is needed for the immediate use thereby. So Lean Six Sigma for services. Lean Six Sigma combines the emphasis of maximizing flow and reducing waste from lean with variations reduction and an organizational infrastructure. Specific improvement process from Six Sigma. Lean Six Sigma for services focuses on improving the customer experiences. Service outcome by addressing poor flow and excess waste and variation in the service delivery process for both the firm and the customers as co-producer. That is what Lean Six Sigma would all about it. The lean tools in bowls. What are we looking at? We are talking about DMAC. D for define, M for measure, A for analyze, I for improve, and C for obviously control. So what do we define? We define the project selection. We define the project management process. We define the value stream. We define the financial analysis, everything that can be value added. We define the CPOC MAC. CPOC is supplier input, process, output, and C for customers, as the case might be. We define everything. Now, what do we measure? The operational effectiveness of operational definitions, data collection plan, data collection process, Pareto chart, histogram, box plot. We process everything, we measure everything, including the process cycle time and process sizing. What to analyze? We analyze everything as far as process chart is concerned. Monitoring, controlling and evaluating evaluation matrix or monitoring and evaluation matrix, fishbone diagram, brainstorming, detail as is on its basis. So constraint identification, time trap analysis, non-value added analysis, hypothesis tests, confidence interval, and FIMIA. If we go around it, simple and multiple regression, ANOVA, analysis of variance, queuing theory, analytical batch, we measures everything. We try to analyze everything, and probably that is the reason why we can try to improve as such by various options that is available through brainstorming, through benchmarking, through total productivity management, through 5S, the Japanese philosophy of cleanliness, line balancing, process flow improvement, replenishing pull system, as in just in time or just production, just do it, JDIs, setup reduction, generic pool, and this is what we need to go around it. Yes, the last step is control. Last step is your control chart. Is it within the upper limit and the lower limit, perhaps, if this been producing? What are our SOPs, standard operating procedures, the training plan, communication plan, implementation plan, visual process, mistake proofing, everything you name it, and we can do everything around the control process, including the PDCA cycle also, the plan, do, check, act cycle. So yes, define, measure, analyze, improve, and control check. Control are the Lean Six Sigma principles or tools to act upon it. With this, I come to an end of this video. Thank you for watching it.